Hey guys, it's Pastor Jordan here, and welcome to rStudents Online. Before we move any further on into the night, I have a couple quick announcements that I want to make sure you guys are aware of. First off, school is probably a little too close to right around the corner than any of us would prefer. But with that actually means something else for our students. It means that there are our kids who are transitioning from 5th grade into 6th grade, making them part of our students, one of us. So in 2 weeks, we are actually going to be officially welcoming in all of our new R students that are graduating from our kids on August 12th. So I know we're still in an online mostly setting for now, and it's really hard to try to make people feel like they're included. But I just want to ask you guys to make sure you're interacting with them in the chat, saying hi, saying welcome, all of those different things to make them feel like they are a part of our students. Additionally, as part of our welcoming to them, on August 15th, the following Saturday, we are going to be having a bonfire here on the Restore Church property. It's going to be from 8:30 to 9:30 p.m. There's going to be some snacks, some s'mores, some games, some live worship, so make sure you put that on your calendars. Save the date for August 15th from 8:30 to 9:30. And now let's go over to our Say Yes Challenge for the week. So it is time for our Say Yes Challenge of the week. Before we go further, if you guys have any challenges for myself or some of our other leaders, make sure you go to the link in the description of this video, submit your challenges so you can see myself or other leaders do weird, crazy, stupid, or challenging things for your guys' entertainment. So if you got anything, make sure you submit it so you can keep seeing us do stuff. For this week though, I was challenged to make a bad pizza. I'm supposed to have a couple of really bad, awful pizza toppings, put it on there, and then eat it. I chose to elevate it a little bit, so I actually got a hat. I threw in a bunch of different things for the sauce, for the cheese, and for the toppings, and I drew for each of those categories. So, as all pizzas, we start off with a normal crust. I thought that was a good base to just keep the same. And that's then when it starts getting weird. For the sauce, I would have much rather had normal sauce, but I drew cocktail sauce. So a pizza with cocktail sauce. Luckily, I got mozzarella cheese, so that's gonna be normal. But then for the toppings, I got sardines, I got chocolate chips, and I got the worst pizza topping in the world as the third option. I would have rather drawn anything else. I would have rather drawn the anchovies card, would have rather drawn the gummy bear or the gummy word card out of the hat, but I got the worst card whatsoever with the topping of pineapples. Oh my god, like I love pineapples, but pineapples do not go on pizza. Period. That's it. I know some of you like it. You're wrong. I'm sorry. They just don't go on pizza. But now I have to. Alright. So, to recap, we're going to make a pizza with cocktail sauce, mozzarella cheese, sardines, chocolate chips, and pineapples. I'm sitting here in the parking lot of Walmart, and I'm about to go in and grab all of these things, and you guys are coming with me. Let's go. Before we go, I almost forgot to put my mask on. But we're going out in public, gotta be safe. Don't forget your mask when you go into stores. Here we are, the pizza crust. This is the thing that is the base of all pizzas. Hopefully, at least this part of this pizza will still be good. Cece, don't get mad at me because I'm not making my own crust. Sorry. All right, now we are getting our cocktail sauce. Let's go. This is gonna make one of the worst pizza bases I have ever had. Lord, thank you. Thank you that at least this is normal and is actually supposed to be on pizza. Thank you. All right, guys, we are here at the sardines, and you know what? I just put generic sardines in there, so I forgot that there's all different kinds. You have sardines in water, in oil, in mustard, and in hot sauce.
So I think out of all these, I don't want to get just plain ones because that's boring. So let's go with hot sauce. Hot sauce goes on pizza, so that's our sardines. Let's go. And now we have our milk chocolate chip cookies. Oh no, I've had chocolate on a pizza before, but I don't think this is going to turn out well. All right, here we are, guys. The worst pizza topping in the world. This should be a crime, and you're forcing me to do this. This is the worst. Yeah, whatever.
All right, we are done shopping. We're back in the car. Now we got back to the house and make some pizza. All right, so I have followed the instructions and went ahead and oiled the crust here, just a light coating in olive oil. Next is our sauce, cocktail sauce. All right, I guess next we should go with the sardines and hot sauce. So let's, oh gosh, that's so appetizing looking. All right, so I realized that I got crushed pineapple instead of like cubes. So I can't even like pick around this now. It's just gonna be like this paste of pineapple on this pizza. And our last ingredient is chocolate chips. And you know, you cannot have pizza without garlic. That is literally impossible. So we'll just sprinkle some garlic on here. Hopefully that'll improve the taste. All right, so the instruction says that's gotta cook for about 10-ish minutes or so. So I'm gonna let that cook and I'll see you guys in a few minutes. All right, guys, here is our finished product. Honestly, it doesn't look as bad as I thought it would, although the crushed pineapple does look a bit strange. But I guess the time has come. Let's see how this tastes. Oop. All right. There's one thing that I did forget to mention. I do have a bowl right here. Just in case this is so bad I have to throw up. Hopefully that won't happen, but here goes. That. Oh man. I think that was the most disgusting thing I've ever had in my mouth. Oh my gosh. I do have one thing though. I do say ranch usually makes everything better. So I'm gonna try this with ranch, see if it improves. I think this is a bad idea. Huh.
ranch does make everything better, guys. Oh my gosh. Actually, I just think it covered up everything else that was so disgusting to the point where I didn't taste it and just tasted ranch. But without ranch, definitely could not even keep that in my mouth. That was absolutely disgusting. Well, hey, that is our Say Yes challenge for this week. If you guys have any other Say Yes challenges for myself or the leaders, make sure to fill them out in the link in the description below and submit them so you can continue to see us do dumb stuff like this.
So now we're going to be transitioning into a time of worship. I know we just came off of a funny, gross Say Yes challenge of me eating some weird, disgusting pizza, but we need to focus in on what's really important, the real reason of why we are here, that God is worthy of our praise. He is worthy of every single prayer, every single bit of worship that we could give him. We don't worship because it's a thing that we're required to do, but it's a thing that's out of a response of his love for us, and because he's so important to us and we love him, that we worship him out of that. So let's worship together.
Mountains are still being moved, and strongholds are still being loosed. God, we believe, yes, we can see that wonders are still what you do, and bodies are still being raised, giants are still being slain. 'Cause God, we believe, yes, we can see wonders are still what you do. We are here for you. Come and do what you do. We are here for you. Come and do what you do. We set our heart on you right now. Come and do what you do. 'Cause we need a move. Come on, cry out. We need a move. Oh, we need a move. Yeah. We need a move. We need a move. And bodies are still being raised. Giants are still being slain. Oh, God, we believe. Yes, we somebody shout it. Wonders are still what you do. We are here for you. Come and do what you do. We are here for you. Come and do what you do. Set our hearts on you. Come and do what you do. 'Cause we need a move. Yeah. We need a move. We need a move. Yeah. We need a move. Come on, prophesy. 'Cause miracles happen when you move. Healing is coming in this room. Miracles happen when you move. Heaven is coming. Oh, sing miracles. Miracles happen when you move. Healing is coming in this room. Miracles happen when you move. Heaven is coming. This is we don't have to wait any longer. This is standing in the middle of a move. Standing in the middle of a move. This is this is
Worship is essential. It's essential for my life and for my heart. It reminds me of where my focus needs to be and has to be in order to be close to God. And that's beyond the song. You know, we sing songs every single weekend, but it's really not the melodies that make the difference. It's what we're saying. You know, it's what we're saying to God. And so worship just becomes everything, you know. Worship is a response to a God who loves us. It's how we live our lives. It's how we treat our family. It's how we treat our friends. They're all pieces and parts of worship.
When I worship something, I'm saying that that thing that I worship is worth something to me. It's worth my time, worth my energy, my emotion, my focus. We all worship something. Watch where you spend your time. Watch where you spend your money. That will quickly connect to the thing that you worship.
I am so excited for this week because we are starting a new 2-part series on one of my favorite topics, worship. Worship is one of the most important aspects of our lives. It's part of who we are and why we were made. So before we go any further, though, I have a question for you. Have you ever seen one of those footages, or maybe you've been there in person, of the super fan at a sports game? You know who I'm talking about. Those guys who are dressed from head to toe in body paint and weird clothing, and they're yelling and they're screaming their heads off, booing when the opposite team does something good, and cheering when their team does something good. Occasionally, some of them even get into physical fights over their teams. Some people over the years have even gotten killed over it, over a game, which honestly doesn't have any major significance in their life. Or how about concerts? If you were to show up at a Five Sauce concert, you'd find all of these girls crying and screaming at them with their arms stretched out, reaching for them. Some of them even faint and pass out. Tears are running down their faces, and there's probably some snot bubbles going out of their noses because, let's be honest, there's probably a few ugly criers in the crowd. But they look sick to the point where you want to actually take their temperature and see if they're okay. Things like this have been happening to pop stars for years. And have you ever stopped to actually think about these fanatic scenes? If you have, you'd probably come to one of 3 conclusions. 1, that looks ridiculous. 2, I wish I was there too. Or 3, they're full out worshiping, aren't they? More so than anything that happens at church. But why? Why are they worshiping these things? Why worship a team that's good at getting a ball down a court in a circle with a net on it? Or a team that's great at getting a ball down a predetermined distance of grass to a painted area? Why are people so ridiculously obsessed with those things so much that they have a physical, bodily response to them? Well, here's why. Because as humans, we are worshipers. Every single one of us worships. We can't help it. It's who we are, it's what we do, and it's how we're made. If you grew up going to church, this may come as a shock to you. You're probably like, I thought worship was that thing that we do on Sunday morning when the lights go down and the music gets turned up, and only really religious people do that. especially when it's not on a Sunday morning or a Wednesday night? Well, no. Everyone does it. Christians, atheists, younger people, older people, people all over the world, they all worship. Now, maybe you're thinking, well, I'm talking about a different type of worship. Well, no. Here's a definition of what worship is. Worship is a response to what matters most to us. Let me say that again. Worship is responding to something, whether that's cheering, clapping, yelling, crying, singing. It's a response to what matters most to us. And we all do it. We all worship. Maybe it doesn't look like blowing snot bubbles out of your noses at a Five Sauce concert or painting your body at a sports game. But here's the reality. Everyone worships. Everyone worships something, but not every something should be worshiped. Let's take a look at what Romans 1:25 says. It says this: they traded the truth about God for a lie. So they worshiped and served the things God created instead of the Creator himself, who is worthy of eternal praise. Now, this verse is really interesting. So let's take another look at a closer in look at this verse. It says they traded. This is an indication that at one point they had worshiped God, but they traded it away for something else to worship. The other interesting thing about the word traded is that it means that they couldn't have both. They had to give up one for the other. And here's the thing. We're either worshiping God or we're worshiping something else. But you can't worship both. You must trade one for the other because it's the very nature of worship is the thing that we value absolute most in our lives. There can be nothing above that thing or equal to it. There's nothing higher in your life than the thing that you worship. It's the thing we spend most of our time thinking about, putting our energy into, and that is what we worship. Now, let's take a look at the next part of the verse. It says, they worshiped and served the things. They worshiped, meaning they responded to it and put all the energy they had into those things. But they also served them. And serving is an outward action to those things. The things that we worship, we also serve. We live out what matters most to us. We become those things. We do those things. The decisions that we make in our lives are based on those things that we worship, that we serve. You don't just dance, you're a dancer. You don't just play football, you're a football player. You don't just play an instrument or sing, you're a musician. You don't just paint or draw or sculpt, you're an artist. You don't just date someone, you actually become their boyfriend or their girlfriend. See, you become the things that you value most. One thing that I found myself unintentionally valuing the most and ultimately worshiping as I was growing up was video games. Every free moment of every day I had, I spent playing games. There was this one summer in particular, I remember that I would routinely stay up till probably about 6 a.m. Then I would go to sleep and then get up around 10 or 12 and play more. And I always played this game called Halo Reach. The time that I spent not playing games, I spent talking to my friend that played the game with me. His name was John, about the game. So I wasn't playing the game, I was talking about the game and talking about the matches that we had played and how we dominated over the other team. See, I spent so much time playing Halo Reach that I memorized where the spawn locations were. So if I killed somebody here and I was here, they're gonna spawn over here. And if I killed someone here and I was here, they're gonna spawn over here. I memorized all of these locations so that I knew where somebody was gonna respawn so I could kill them quicker and win the match easier. I got to the point to where I was actually the top 3,000 people in the world at one point. See, I didn't just play games, I was a gamer. Everything about the game and everything that went into it consumed me, and I ended up worshiping it because every moment of every day I was either playing, thinking about, or talking about the game. See, again, what you spend the most time thinking about, doing, or giving the most of your attention to is often the thing that you're worshiping. So what is that thing for you? Is it the sport? Or is it your music? Is it your grades? Maybe it's your boyfriend or your girlfriend. Are you worshiping popularity and fitting in? Do you worship having all of the new stuff, whether it's clothes or shoes or the newest Apple gadget that just came out? Do you worship your body? Do you want it to look perfect enough, skinny enough, muscular enough so that other people around you take notice? Do you worship the American dream that's getting good grades so you get into a good college, so you can get a good job, so that you make good money, and you can have all of the good stuff in life? What is it for you? Now, let me say this. Most of those things that I mentioned aren't bad at all. Some of them are actually really good things that God wants to be part of our lives. And there's nothing wrong with them until we make them more important than God. See, when we trade God for the things that God created for us, like what Romans 1:25 said earlier, we've worshiped the wrong thing. As soon as we begin to put more thought, more time, more energy, more enjoyment, more of our identity, we get more joy out of those things rather than what we put into and get out of God, it becomes wrong. Because then we become just like those crying, screaming, snotting, fainting, painted up fanatics that were at a pop concert or a sports game, worshiping the things that aren't even close to deserving our worship. They're just for fun and not much else. So tonight I want you to identify the thing that you're worshiping in your life. I want to challenge you to put that thing down where it belongs and bring God back up where he belongs as number one in your life. God is the only one who deserves and is worthy of our worship. So let's pray. Papa, I just thank you so much for who you are. We praise you. We glorify you. I ask that you just be with each and every single one of us and help us identify the things that we may unintentionally be putting above you, the things that we don't even know are so important in our lives. We think that we might be worshiping you and we're putting all of our energy there, but if we are putting extra energy somewhere else that only you deserve, God, I just ask that you help us identify that. And then help us put that down and bring you back up to where you truly deserve to be in our life as number one. In your precious name, amen. Well, hey guys, thank you so much for tuning in again for rStudents Online, and I'll see you all again next week.
Mm.